We're Guy and Sarah from Peddling Past, the YouTube channel that takes you back in time on a bike.
And today we're in Stamford Bridge, not the football ground, but the historic market town in North Yorkshire, not far outside York. Probably had deep Celtic roots. We'll go into that a bit later, further around the trip, but was a Roman town, then famously the site of the battle before the Battle of Hastings in 1066, and then a really prosperous wall town, and now it's just quite a sleepy little market town by the River Derwent. So the route is 62 kilometres, the full route, with 465 metres of climbing, which sounds like quite a lot. But that all occurs in one loop up through the Wolds at Millington Pastures, one of David Hockney's favourite places to paint and where he grew up as a lad. So if you want to cut out the climbing, then it's almost completely flat. And we've got some off-road sections as well. It's primarily road, but we've got a few off-road sections, which we're going to do today on a suck it and see basis, because it has been raining quite a lot, but they should be so we'll have to see how well drained they are and whether we include them in the end. But again, those are optional, so the route can be done entirely on a normal road bike or hybrid. So we're heading out of Stamford Bridge, south towards Allerthorpe, then we join the Pocklington Canal for a bit of canal side meandering, up into Pocklington itself, then into the Wolds at the beautiful Millington Pastures, up over to the highest village in the Wolds at Huggate, which is also where Sarah's mum grew up. And David Hockney.
That's right.
David Hockney was there as a lad as well, though we don't know if they ever met.
I like to think they did.
Yeah. But anyway, then we're dropping down to a beautiful village called Bishop Wilton, and then back through Full Sutton, which has, again, quite some grim elements of its past, and a military past as well. So, and then we're back to Stamford Bridge.
So we're going to jump on the bike now and pedal through Stamford Bridge, and I'll tell you the horrible details of the battle.
And there are some horrible ones.
Grim
One
bits.
particularly grim bit.
Grim bits. We hope you'll join us
for some time travel gravel.
Now, let's tell you a tale about Stamford Bridge. So the battle here was really pivotal in British history, because it sort of laid the starter for the 1066 battle against William the Conqueror, which we lost. So what had happened was Edward the Confessor died, and he had two sons. Oldest fairy tale in the world, isn't it? One got made the king, the other was really, really hacked off, and he was called Tostig. So Tostig went off and formed an alliance with Harold Hardrada, King of Norway. And they met here with Harold Godwinson, who was the then English king. They were on both sides of the river, which then forced the English to use the bridge to cross over to even start fighting them. And there was a rather enterprising, very large Viking, Berserker, who was stood on the bridge with a very large double-bladed, double-handed axe. And who had managed to kill 40 of the Anglo-Saxons, until an equally enterprising chap decided that he'd use half a barrel and sail underneath the berserker's legs and spear him with his spear in his you-know-whats. That was the end of that. So the English managed to fight the Vikings, and they won.
Didn't Tostig didn't give up, did he? That's not the crucial thing. He fought to the death.
Do you know what? Thank you, Guy, because that, I think, actually is a bit of forgotten history. Tostig would not give up. So they were really exhausted, and then had to march really quickly down to Hastings, because William the Conqueror had landed, and they were kind of on the back foot before they even started that battle, because of the length of time it took them to beat Tostig.
Always nice to get a bit of a slipstream on the road where you can. Right, we're coming up to the main Hull road now, so you might just want to hop off and cross this one on foot. And now, this is one of the optional off-road sections. at Allerthorpe Wood. There's even a little coffee hut here on a weekend if you already need some coffee to get you going. Nice bit of gentle off-road, and very popular with adders apparently. But as you can see, a bit puddly, but then it's been raining a lot. But there's a pure road option if you just want to loop round a little bit further. But these woods are beautiful. It's like, really reminds me of Thetford.
God, don't! It was all sand in Thetford and 40 degrees and I blew up like you wouldn't believe.
Yeah, that route's on the Cycling UK website, but Mrs K's still in therapy for that one. Oh, it's lovely coming through here. Trying to work out whether it's gorse or broom. It has consequences if you crash into it. I think it was gorse actually. And this section, just like Thetford, used to be used for army training as well. So there's part of it called tank plantation. Apparently, tanks used to sink in it because it's very soggy underneath. Oh, here we go. It might well be this bit. Any tanks? See if
come on, we can do it.
See if tandem's sinking it as well as tanks. Whoop, heads.
Oh.
No, we're through. We're through so far. You might have to hop off for this stream, but it's very pretty. And this whole area around here was a heartland of the Parisi tribe, which, as you might have guessed, also held sway over Paris and that area of France. So you're getting all sorts of tumuli, and there's some chariot burials around here as well, near Pocklington. And we're just rolling into Allerthorpe shortly. I have to say, Allerthorpe looks very nice. Although, a bit early to stop for a pint, do you reckon, Mrs K?
It is too early, but this food smells really nice.
Yeah, we better crack on. And we've just stopped for a snack at Komoot Bridge on the Pocklington Canal. It's a very picturesque stretch of canal, runs all the way up to Pocklington, which is where we're heading next. So, another little bit of traffic-free gravel off-road. Just make sure if you're going to crash to the left, don't go right, because that'll be the canal. And the birdsong really is beautiful along here. It's just a lovely corridor through the countryside. And in summer, according to the signage we've been passing, you get a lot of rare dragonflies as well. So, I mean, this would be cool. I mean, it's nice in the afternoon, but I reckon on a summer's evening, this would be beautiful. We're coming up to another lock now, and that must be the lock keeper's house. We're just rolling into Pocklington now, and they've been kind enough to provide a cycle path, so you don't have to go on what's a relatively busy road. We just stopped for a coffee and shake in Pocklington. Really nice little town. Very, very prosperous wall town in the medieval period. It dates right back to the Bronze Age. There's Iron Age burials around here as well, including one with a chariot and ponies, which is very, very rare, having ponies in the grave. So, yeah. I have to say, lovely little place to stop. And now we're heading off up into the Wolds. But obviously lots of places to eat and have a little bit of a shop around anyway. And now we're heading up into the Yorkshire Wolds. But if you don't want to head into the Wolds, because it does get, oh, and here up, as you can see there, it does get a little bit hilly from here on in. You can just head straight north. I mean, you can head through Bishop Wilton still, and then round to Stamford Bridge from there. So you can just have a flat route that's about 40k, or a hilly route. Well, it's kind of one big long hill really going up, and then a zoom back down. but the views are sensational. I mean, there's views which we'll see today, which are hanging in the Tate, courtesy of David Hockney, so yeah, we think it's worth it anyway. But this is the point to sit on the flat if you want to. This is what riding in the Wolds is about. Deserted backcountry roads, flowers all along the edge, songbirds overhead. Now we're rolling through Millington before we get into the Wolds proper, but it's got a little tea room and a village shop and a pub, so again, loads of places to stop on this route. It's a really nice one to meander through, and Millington itself is beautiful. And that's the Minster Way there, the walking route that comes through here. And to make navigation easy, if you see there, we're just basically following National Cycle Network 164. So you see lots of little blue cycling signs, you know you're going the right way. But what a beautiful bit of riding it is out here. To be fair, this is the kind of road riding. Well, you're glad you're on a gravel bike anyway. It's a fair bit of field wash and gravel. But beautiful out here. I don't think these are a native species, but they do seem to be enjoying the Wolds. And who can blame them? We've got some wild primroses to jump on.
We're in Millington pastures now, and it's just got a bit of an alpine feel with all the wildflowers, and it's just such a landscape. I don't know, there's just something really special about it, and I can't put my finger on it. This is Hockney that we're in now. We've just had the friendliest pub stop.
Oh, lovely.
Everybody chatted, it was so nice. Lovely summer's evening, and I do feel slightly nostalgic, I think that's the right word for it, because my mum spent a lot of time here when she was growing up. So somewhere along here she would have worked on a farm or been on a farm.
Like the tea room there we've just gone past.
Yep, lovely tea room we've just gone past, and I'm liking to think in a rather silly sentimental way that she might have spent some time with David Hockney, but I'm making that up in my imagination.
Probably spent some time in the pub.
She didn't drink, she was teetotal. Oh. I think this is going to come as no surprise. Hockney, the highest village on the Wolds, also has the deepest well, which I think was well over 100 metres deep. And it used to supply all the water to the village, and once a year they used to do a race around it.
And just like the South Downs, this whole area is absolutely loaded with prehistory. Huge collection of earthworks running along the top. Nearly all these hills, Bronze Age, Iron Age in date. Kind of boundary markers. Oh, just ways to show off your power, really. And a whole load of barrow cemeteries as well, or tumuli, as you'll see them on the Ordnance Survey map. And as well as prehistory, in World War II, they actually tested the temporary runways that they were using for D-Day up here on Hockney Wolds. Sort of metal mesh temporary airstrips, and they laid them out on top of the hill, and they had 2 squadrons P-51 Mustangs just constantly taking off and landing on them for 2 weeks up here, just to see if they worked, so they could take them over to Normandy with them. And then they built Full Sutton Airfield just down the hill, which we're dropping towards now, as it happens. And there's a Roman road that runs across here as well. One of several, to be honest, around here. And we really are on top of the wold here. See all the way around Millington Pastures where we came up, and then out over Garraby and the Northern Wolds, and then around over the Vale of York. You can see why this was such a popular area with early man, with the flint and the easy draining chalk. It's just beautiful up here. You see why Hockney was so inspired as well, after spending time on his uncle's farm at Hockney. We've just turned off onto another section of gravel bridleway, halfway down the hill, so don't get too carried away on the descent, but look at those views out over the Vale of York. No wonder that David Hockney got so inspired to paint out here when he was working on his uncle's farm as a youth. And with this easy draining, fertile soil, and you've got natural flint here as well, which is of course your major source of tools for prehistoric folks. No wonder this place has such a deep history, and yet it's pretty much deserted and undiscovered. It makes it a beautiful place to come and ride a bike. It's a fine place to be a calf. Right, so we've just come down. We've just come down quite a steep grassy slope there. I mean, you can easily kind of zigzag around for an easier gradient. So I think this is probably might be a bit technical for some, but as Sarah says, I mean, look at this. Look at this beautiful brook with the irises, and you've got your sunset here. So even, I mean, and this is an easy bit to get around. I mean, if you don't turn off onto this bridle path, you just go down the bottom of the hill on the road, and then you come around the bottom of the hill, and it's a bit flatter. But you know, this is literally idyllic. This is just beautiful, isn't it? Done it again.
Yeah,
Done it again.
This is just, you just feel like all your stress just go, oh.
I reckon we're keeping this in then. Even if I have to push a bit for the next bit. Yeah, well, look, I should explain. Sarah gave blood yesterday.
I did.
And Sarah's very good at giving blood, but even so, yeah, she's done very, very well getting up Millington Pastures. So, steady one today. Emphasis on enjoying this one.
Yes.
As it always should be, to be fair. As it always should be. I mean, just look at that light coming through the dandelions. We're literally giggling to ourselves here. I'll be honest, when I read the map, I thought it was all a descent. So let's just say this is a bonus climb, but oh my Lord. Even if you just walk through this bit, it's just beautiful. Absolutely beautiful.
Oh no. And this is the whole point of pedalling past. And Guy's smashing putting these routes together.
Oh, look at the church. Look at that little chapel.
Oh, I can't. Oh, yes, I can just see it. I can just see it. This, you're coming on an adventure with us. You're coming and discovering these areas that we had no idea. And I feel like we have literally won the Wolds. It's been such an experience to find these places that are just, they're so quiet, nobody's here. It's wonderful.
So we've just done a lap of the Bishop Wilton Grand Prix. Beautiful old medieval village with a stream running down the green in the middle. There's a community shop over there if you need to restock your supplies, and the Fleece Inn if you need to quench your thirst. Oh, everything you could want from a medieval village. Oh, and there's the moated remains of the Bishop's old palace as well at the far end of the village, and a flower festival in the church next weekend. But yeah, I mean, there's so many beautiful little villages out this way, but I do feel like this is a particularly gorgeous one. And as you're coming out of Bishop Wilton, your route will send you straight on past that no through road sign. But don't worry, that's just a no through road for cars. This is actually a perfectly legal bridleway. And even better, it's my favourite kind of road. It's one with grass up the middle. So, pretty much guaranteed very little traffic. Apart from the farm traffic, you know. Never assume you've got these places totally to yourself, because obviously it's a working landscape, but oh, what a way to roll down into the Vale of York. Not long back to Stamford Bridge now, and all flat.
We're just coming up to St Leonard's Well, which was well known for its medicinal properties. I think that might be it. And as you go past High Belthorpe Farm, you can see just underneath the remains of a moated manor house as well. And some pretty spectacular views.
There's not a huge amount of gravel in this time travel gravel mix, but what there is absolutely fantastic. And over there is Full Sutton Airfield, which was a bomber airfield in World War II. Then it was used as a missile base during the Cold War. Now it's an industrial estate. Kind of standard airfield history, really. And we've just gone past the other interesting aspect of Full Sutton, the maximum security prison, where some of Britain's most notorious criminals have called home. And due to an interesting policy of housing sex offenders and some of the most violent men in Britain side by side, quite murderier as well, but I'm sure that's purely accidental. But don't worry, no one's ever escaped from there, so we thought we'd best check that before we routed the bike tour past it. So don't worry, as long as you don't see two people going along in a stripy outfit on a tandem, should be safe. And now, back into Stamford Bridge. And there's the bridge itself. And there's some cafes and shops here as well. Right, so here we are, back at Stamford Bridge, and we really hope you've enjoyed coming along on this Wolds Apart route with us. I'm still surprised that it's 500 metres of climbing, because...
Yeah, we've actually checked the computer when we got back, because it didn't feel like that. It's quite a nice gradient. Because the roads are really quiet, you can just sort of take it at your own pace.
Stop and see some Highland cattle.
Like I did.
And just generally chill out. Everyone's been super friendly as well. Quiet roads, lovely friendly people, loads of pubs to stop at.
Yes, and we've just got a lovely coffee from a very nice cafe.
Yeah, there's bistros and
Stamford
cafes
Bridge.
and takeaways and everything in Stamford Bridge. It's not on the railway network anymore, so you will have to drive here, but it's only about 10 miles outside York, so if you wanted, you could ride from York, no problem at all, and there's plenty of places to stay here as well. Lots of campsites as well, we noticed.
Lots of glamping here, yeah, so, it seems you'd have a lovely time camping, and if you wanted to extend your stay.
No, it's been great. Not massively loaded with history. I mean, we've had not visible history anyway. There's a lot of history has happened around here, but you know, Canal was a nice surprise. Got a nice bit of nature reserve and common, and some quality gravel on the way back in. Yeah, include that hidden valley. I have to say that might actually be the highlight. Yeah, the gravel was really exceeded expectations. Yeah, as Harry Potter would say. Stunning views, absolutely stunning. Yeah, I mean, Hockney-esque, in fact, genuine Hockney views. Yes. So the other thing we noticed was, I think a lot of the gravel trails were pretty much all year round. Yeah, they really well drained. Yeah, just so, don't worry about it being too sticky in winter either. And like I said at the start, you don't have to take those gravel trails. If you look on the map, there's a load of really easy workarounds on the road, and you don't even have to go up into the Wolds if you don't want to, if you're feeling more like a flatter day. But I think you'd really be missing out on the highlights of the route. I think if you can do that climbing, and it really was not
I was quite dreading it, and it was actually fine for me.
Yeah, and like I say, Sarah gave blood yesterday.
So I'm not full par at all.
Feeling a bit empty.
Yeah. A little bit.
Anyway, look, massive thanks for coming with us. We really hope you've enjoyed it. We're still working out how to do this. It's very much ad hoc, as you can probably imagine. As you can probably see, I've got a lot of experience with YouTube and talking about routes. Sarah is learning it on the go and outshining me in most situations. But if there's anything you'd like to see, anything you'd like us to do different, then please let us know in the comments, because, you know, we love chatting to you guys about the routes and letting you, and if you've got any suggestions, let us know. And and by the way, GPX will be in the route description, and the route will be on Komoot as well, on the Pedaling Past page. And don't forget to follow us on @PedalingPast at Instagram, and subscribe to Pedaling Past on YouTube, and click for notifications so you know when the next video comes up, because we'll be shooting another one next weekend. But for now, we're Guy and Sarah. It's 2023, you know, you can't tell these days. From Pedaling Past, and we hope you've enjoyed the Time Travel Gravel. We got that bit right as well. Right, Guy, come on, we best drive home.